Hello, everyone.
Hi.
How are we? This is the Westlands in conversation with part two of the Letitia chat that we were having before we had to cut it short. There was quite a long episode anyway, so we're just going to finish off today, just going into some things we wanted to talk about. First of all, just going back to letting people know some stuff. 7th of April, the new single is out on all platforms. That's our new single. I have to point the opposite direction. That way, that's it. The new single is out on the 7th. Country Life for Me, which I still haven't sent to you, Emma, to put places. I'll do that afterwards. We could just send it straight to Letitia.
Bypass the middleman.
Bypass the middleman. That's it. Yeah. You will play this, right? Now, and then we got and we've also got some big news. Can we tell them?
I don't know. It's the answer to the question.
They've given us the date, haven't they? And the time.
Date and the stage time, so why not?
Let's do it anyway. So, BBC introducing Coventry, Warwickshire, have invited us to play on their stage at Godiva Festival. Yay!
Yeah.
And we're very excited about it. So make your way down. If you're in the local area, it's not expensive here. It used to be a free festival, I think, but now because they've got so much bigger names on the roster, I think now there is a small fee. It was like less than a tenner or something crazy for one day, I think. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure
we're just going to make stuff up.
I'm pretty sure I saw £8 on there.
For the cost of one trout, you can enter the Godiva Festival.
I wouldn't have a clue how much a trout costs. Right, on that bombshell, let's bring back in our guest.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm freezing. Cost of living and all that.
Yeah. You're gonna make those savings. So you've gone with the blanket tonight. You could have just said that it was a fashion statement. I mean, people do that these days. They wear anything and just say it's in the name of fashion. Yeah, I'll say there you go. This is
easy blankets. I'm sure that's what it is.
Lounge throw by Gucci.
I'm really sorry if you can hear the dog trapping in the background. She's really angry about something and she's telling someone off, but she's been doing it now for about 20 minutes. She won't stop.
And Emma's already having cat issues. The cat was trying to take off the webcam before we went live as well.
He's loitering somewhere. I can feel his claws in the darkness. Where are you?
I'll tell you what, you have so many issues with your pets, man.
Honestly.
They just want to sabotage you constantly.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. If Emma ever goes missing, prime suspect 1 and 2 is cat and dog.
It's the cat and the dog.
Yeah.
Cat dog.
Dog's digging a big hole in the back garden. Cat's like, I don't know what he's doing.
Cat's
Why is he doing
that with his claws, just sharpening them before.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Oh, that would be. It wouldn't be funny. Obviously, I don't want you to get murdered by your pets, but
thank you.
That would be hilarious.
Just while we're on the subject, obviously we've just mentioned that we've been asked by BBC to play the Godiva Festival, which is cool. I don't know whether you actually knew that we were going to be doing that at all, but did you know?
Way below her.
Not until you told me. So
way below her pay grade.
Awesome.
I will probably. Not even. No, I might even be presenting at one of the stages. So hopefully I get to introduce you.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, that's awesome. Right. So before we had to cut off last time, we just started talking to you about the voice, and you said that obviously the way it was edited was a little different, and the fact that you was on stage for like 45 minutes for the blind audition. I got some questions on that now. Now I've had time to think about it.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you go on stage for 45 minutes when it's supposed to be a blind audition? Why would that be the case? Because that now intrigues me now. Because whenever I watch The Voice, I'm going to be like, I wonder how long they've been stood there. Like, what was going on? Why did it take so long? Did you forget your words?
So basically, no. So I went, like, they film you coming out and it is deathly silent. Like, you could literally hear a feather drop. Like, it's that silent. because no one can react to you coming out on stage, because then they'll give it away, like, you know, to the judges or the coaches, as they're called. So then
Sorry,
obviously
I just
I
had
start
some image
singing.
of.
Whoever turns
Sorry, I just had some image when you just said like
with
people
what?
walking out. Some people are walking out on stage and giving it away, like some dads looking at each other, rubbing their legs like this. "Ooh, yeah, look at her coming on."
Not even.
That is the
Crying out
worst
loud.
feeling.
But no,
That is the worst feeling, going on stage and there just being a room of silence. Because I think it's fair to say we've all played a gig when there's been just the odd solitary clap in the background, and it's the worst feeling.
it was
So you walk out.
intense. Like, it just feels. Oh yeah, it just feels really like the room just feels like there's so many people watching you. Like, there's more people than there's actually there. That's how it feels. But then you sing your song, and then when I was done, then all the chairs turned around. Everybody that, well, Will.i.am didn't turn for me, so his chair turned around.
What a
Boo.
And
bastard.
then, but then they just start talking to you. So obviously they first put up their case as to why they want you to like be on their side, and each one of them does that. So I don't know if I said this last time, I can't remember, but Rita Ora was literally on her hands and knees with a tiara in her hands at the foot of the stage, begging me to be on her team. And I think that's so funny, but nobody saw that. But it
No,
happened. And then, you know,
that's weird.
with Tom Jones, I always do an impression of him, but it's terrible. It's a terrible impression. So I apologize, Tom, if you see this. He goes, "Well, you know, I've got the experience, you know." Like,
That's
terrible.
not bad. Not
But, you know,
bad.
That's pretty good.
Tom doesn't need to sell himself because it's Tom Jones. Do you know what I mean? Ricky said that he'd take me to Nando's. So I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Sold.
not why I went with him, obviously. I did pick
Sold.
Ricky, but that's not why I went with him. But
Chicken
but no,
me.
like, they're just asking about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're asking questions about you. They're trying to get to know you, and then they all make their cases. So you're on stage for a lot longer than. But of course, they'd only get one person on the TV show if every episode, if they allowed you to film, if they put on. So they edit it down. Like, there was
How
one part
long?
of the show where I was fuming because I actually contacted one of the producers when it aired, because there was something that they kept trying to get me to say, like to give a bit of sass, like before the battle. And I was just like, I don't want to say that. Like, I don't want to come across as that kind of person, because that's not me. And I don't like,
Yeah.
I don't want to come across as that, because people can be mean. And
Yeah.
so they got me to say it anyway, because they just chopped it up.
Oh no way!
Yeah. So it gets edited very cleverly, and then I just thought, oh, you've made me look like a knob. Do you know what I mean? Like, when there's a part of the video, and actually, because I was recording something the other day, so I had to watch the video back. And at the end of the battle, I go to give Vikesh a high five, and he just blanks me. I didn't even realise. And I thought, you could have left that out. Do you know what I mean? All the things to keep in, you could have took that out. Do you know what I mean? There's me getting pied. And I'm just like this. I'm like,
Self-five.
And it just,
Yay!
I wish I had high fived myself now. But it was so funny looking at it the other day, and I just thought, how embarrassing. But yeah, like, it's like during the during the, like, where you go up against everyone in your team, so the knockout rounds, right? That's when you go from like 16 to 8.
Yeah.
Or from 8, whatever. So when you go from loads of
Yeah.
people, you go up against everyone in your own team. Like, we're stood around for ages. Like, sometimes you'd be filming for 15 hours, not necessarily constantly filming, but I remember once I wasn't very well, right? During one of the filming days, I had a bit of a bad tummy, right?
Oh,
So
no.
they sent me back to the hotel
Nothing
because they were
worse than
like, you can come back later because we're going to be here all day. So they literally took me back to my hotel, let me go to sleep for about 3 hours, and then came and got me again, put me back in hair and makeup, and they were still recording. So, you know,
Oh
they were
God.
really, really long days. And that's how you get to know people. I feel like that's how, when you go through these show experiences, why people are like, oh, you know, I made the best of friends, because you spend so much time just sitting behind the camera with these people
Yeah,
that you just
talking
get
to
to
people.
chat.
Yeah.
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 And you get to know people really quickly because you spend it's not necessarily a long amount of days, but it's a long amount of time that you spend together whilst you're doing the filming over, say, the 2-3 days that you're there. You'll spend pretty much your entire waking moments with these people, either in a room somewhere
Yeah.
or on set or something like that. So yeah, it's interesting how TV shows do get edited. I always feel terrible when I tell people that, because I always feel like I've now ruined it, but I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
we want to know.
Like,
We want to know. We want to
Were you
know.
ever? Was there ever a part of you which was like, I don't know if I actually want to be on TV. I want to be a singer, and I'd like to do this professionally, but I don't know if I want to put myself out to be on TV.
oh, 100%. I tried to quit the show. They wouldn't let me.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I've heard
after
that
my blind
before as well.
audition, so after my blind audition, you then get to go, and so you meet up with your coach for the first time socially. So everyone goes for drinks, and
I
you
was
meet
going to
everybody
ask
that's
that.
actually on your team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you meet everybody that's on your team, and you meet up with. So we went to this like really nice London bar, and so we met Ricky there, and you know, he spends time getting to know everybody. But then you, at this point, you don't know what anyone can do, right? You don't know
Yeah.
how good these people are.
You're just
Everybody's
looking at them. You're just looking at them, thinking, "Bitch, I'm taking you out. You over there, you're gone. I'm gonna put some marbles underneath your chair, and then when you get up, you're gonna fall over. You're out." I'd be
I
setting.
imagine.
It'd be like Home Alone if I
You'd
was
be
around. I'd
saying,
be setting traps everywhere.
do you know what? It was interesting, because obviously the first time you meet everybody, I think everybody's just trying to be nice. Do you know what I mean? But then you
Yeah.
sit and you watch everyone find audition.
Yeah.
So that's the first time you've
Ooh.
met them, and and you watch everybody. And like I said, I was a lot bigger at this point, and I saw myself on that screen, and I left the room and I burst into tears, and I was petrified. And I said to the producer, I said, I'd like to step out of the show. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to get bullied,
Yeah.
and I can't take that. I said, I'm not strong enough for that. And they were like, no, come on, like, it's going to be fine. Like, you know, like, really trying to talk you around. And I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I'm like, my mental health comes first. I was like, I don't care about you. I was like, I don't care about you, because you are not going to stop anybody from saying horrible things about me. I look
Yeah.
humongous. I was like, I look so big. I said, in fact, I look bigger than I actually am in real life. And I was like, and that has scared me. I was like, people are going to be so vile. And obviously, at this point, we saw how they'd edited the auditions,
Yeah.
so I knew
Yeah.
exactly what was going to get aired on telly.
Yeah.
And I was like, they've made me look like an absolute asshole. I was like, I can't be a part of the show. I don't want to do this. And they were like, come on, like, you know, have 24 hours. If you still feel the same in 24 hours, then you know what, we can talk about it. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, they were like, oh, you know, it'll be great, don't worry about it. I went home after that day, after the next day, because we had filming to do the next day. Basically, is where we found out who we were being paired with for the battle.
Yeah.
And I went home the next day and I started a diet. And within 2 months from going from watching that audition to next filming my battle, I lost 4 stone, because I was like,
Wow.
there's no way in hell. That's why I look like 2 different people between my blind and my battle, because I was
They've
like,
replaced
I
them.
can't do this.
And it's such a
Yeah,
crazy
it
amount
is
of
real.
that's such a crazy amount of pressure to put on yourself.
Oh, I had to do it. I was petrified. I was just like, I need to show some drastic difference. So I lost 4 stone in, I think it was literally about 7 weeks. And that's a really, really bad thing. Like, I would never encourage anyone to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, be yourself at the end of the day.
It's
Me,
funny.
how I felt.
It's funny though, because it is a subject, and we were joking about it. We've just done a little vlog, actually, haven't we, on our channel about the band sort of getting in shape for the summer
I've
shows.
seen it.
So we all went to the gym together. That was quite funny. Well, some of us did. Some people were at home eating pizza and beer. Jordan sent us a video going, "Why on earth would you do that?" but I remember, because I see it's going to sound stupid me saying this, right? But because I played like really sort of high level sports when I was young, I was always in really good shape.
Yeah.
And then I had a period where I started with a rock band called Piston, and we were doing quite well, and we were getting some big shows. But I was going out, and I was probably doing. I'd never really drunk ever up until that point, and I kind of stopped all the exercise because I was doing so much music, and I was drinking a lot after gigs and almost every weekend, and which I'd never done before. And then I remember I did this show with. It was in London, it was in Camden somewhere. It was Camden Underground or something like that. We played, and someone took a photo of me from the side. Right. And it was the first time I'd ever looked at myself and gone, "Oh shit, what have I done?" And do you know what? I never thought I would be the person that would ever be bothered by that. But you know, when you see it on someone else's lens on a camera or something like that, I was like, fuck, that's what people are looking at. And I went obsessed the other direction, and I started losing the weight again. I was like, I mean, now I couldn't give a shit. No, I'm getting too old to care. But then I was like, oh man, this I've got to do. So the pressure you put, it doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are. When you see anything about yourself on a camera lens, and you know that you're being right, anyone noticed anything different about Steve today?
I know what it is. Can I please out you for this? Just for men.
It's fine. I don't give a shit. Right. So all my grey hair's gone. It's all disappeared. Right.
Just for men. That's his new nickname.
Right. Now listen. No, see, she's laughing. Now I had this conversation with everybody that's laughed at me in the last few days. I don't care. Fuck you all. Right. And secondly, I was just like, well, why is it okay for women to go around dyeing their hair and looking after themselves? I was getting laughed at because I bought collagen anti-wrinkle cream, and stuff like that. But I'm like, I said to someone the other day, I'm like, yeah, but you ain't got to get on stage in front of thousands of people over the next 6 months and have everyone look at you.
I don't think there's any other job where you get judged quite as much as you do is when you're a performer. I mean, I've got a proper job. I'm a teacher, and so I go to work, and at no point do I think, apart from when I've got a lesson observation, someone's judging me. But as soon as we get on stage, every time you open your mouth, you think someone in the audience is going to go, "That was shit, that was sharp, that was flat, that was rough, that harmony wasn't great. What's she wearing?"
There's so many judge points.
So many points where people can just slowly pick you apart.
Yeah. I mean, over the years, and this, I'm getting to a question, but over the years, we've managed to develop a skill now whereby I've definitely, and I think it is a skill. I don't think some people say you're born like it. I don't think you are. I think it's a skill. I genuinely, and I hand on heart, couldn't give a flying F what anyone thinks. And if I make a mistake, I'll make a mistake. I'll even joke about the mistake. Honestly, don't care, because I think what got me past that nervousness for me was and I've said this to the guys in the band. I've said it's Emma because you suffer with a little bit with nerves sometimes. And I said, well, we are definitely going to make a mistake at some point in that set. Something, even if it's tiny, is going to go wrong. So just get over it, because you know you're going to do it before you start. And I think once you accept the fact that you know you're going to make mistakes, you kind of then stop worrying about the mistakes, and then you make less. How do you get over that? Because I know you kind of switched off social media for a little bit as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
and you've come back onto it now. How do you deal with that now? How do you process it now differently, if you do? I don't
know. So I feel like there's like a little two-part question there. Like with my nerves, don't get me wrong, I get nervous before every single show.
I think that's good.
Anytime I sing, whether it's to 2 people or 25,000 people, I'm nervous. I don't get as nervous as I used to, because I've learned to control myself, because I could ruin my own gig and it would be my fault, because I'd be so nervous that, there's been times when I've gone to perform somewhere and I have projectile vomited before the performance because I am that scared. So I still get nervous, and I think the day that I stop getting nervous, I will stop, because I get
Yes.
so nervous because I care so much, because
Yeah.
I'm my worst critic, because if I do something wrong, I will mentally beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
I
I
think I used
try,
to do that, but I don't know more.
but I try to, I'm trying to get better at that. But in regards to social media, I think during the pandemic, I spent so much time on social media, and it was just depressing. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
working. The pandemic hit and I literally lost everything. I'm self-employed. Like,
Yeah.
within 24 hours, I lost 2 years worth of work, and it
Same.
destroyed me,
Yeah.
completely destroyed me. And I was sitting on social media, seeing other people still able to go to work, still able to do certain things, and I lost the drive, because I was just like, I just got so down. I really lost the drive to do music, and because I was spending so much time just scrolling social media, I was like, I have to come away from this,
Yeah.
because it's going to do me a disservice. Like,
Yeah.
and I was seeing loads of people making, like doing live streams and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I just thought, I'm not doing that. So then I started comparing myself to other people, thinking I'm doing a bad job. Like, I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
deserve the job. I don't deserve to get bookings because I'm not doing all these other things. So I
which
came
were
off
which
social
were
media.
which were mostly illegal, by the way. Because people playing like backing tracks on Facebook, like with no copyright like licenses at all. It was just like I had to keep going on there. Like people are like complaining, like, why have they muted my video? It's like, because you're illegally using someone else's music. And no one seems to understand that
That
rule
makes
on the
sense.
internet, but that's another thing. That's another thing.
But yeah, things like that. So, and to be honest, I didn't know that. So thank you for telling me that. But yeah,
So
because I wasn't
you were
doing
just
things like
abiding
that.
the you were just abiding the law.
Exactly, I'm a law-abiding citizen. That's what it is, right?
Is that right?
That's what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just came off social media. I hate Facebook anyway. I think Facebook's shockingly bad. So I don't actually have Facebook. I'll never get it back. It's dead to me. That's what that is, right?
Dead.
Twitter, I don't understand, right? So I just thought I got rid of my
That's for
Twitter
just
years ago.
angry
I don't
politicians.
understand Twitter. Yeah, 100%. Like, I think I must have posted like twice on my Twitter. Like, so I was like, ugh, whatever, let me get rid of that.
I've
Like,
never
I don't know
used
how
it.
to use Twitter. I don't understand it, so I don't use it. But Instagram, I was like, oh no, I'll keep that. And then I ended up getting rid of it anyway. And I just out of nowhere, I just removed all my followers. I unfollowed everybody, and then I didn't delete the account. In fact, I still have the account because I've got all the photos on it. I've got all my photos on there, and I
Yeah.
don't have them saved into a phone because
Yeah.
I broke that phone that they were in, so I can't access them.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I keep them.
Yeah.
I keep the account. But then I realised, like, from coming back to gigging after the pandemic, when things started to get really normal, I noticed that my bookings were few and far between. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact I wasn't on social media, so people didn't know where they could find me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I lost a lot of bookings. But also as well is that I think when people went back into it after the pandemic, and now of course we're in a cost of living crisis, I think a lot of people lowered their prices, but that's not something I'm willing to do because I know
Yeah.
that I'm good at my job. And at the end of the day, if you
Yeah.
can't afford my fee, you can't book me. Like, that's not
Yeah.
my fault. Because also in the same breath is, if I lowered my rates now, when I then put them back up, people are going to be like, why have you done that? Because you've been going around
Yeah.
doing it for X amount of money for the
Yeah.
last 2 years after the pandemic. Now you're putting it back up. I don't
I
want to be
said
in that
that.
situation. I'd rather you just didn't book me.
Yeah.
And
I said that.
so,
I had an agent that was booking out shows for me when I was doing my tribute acts and things as well, when I used
yeah,
to do that. And when they came back, they were kind of like, oh, we want you to go here, go there, and then was telling me the prices, and I was like, that's not, I've been there before, that's like half nearly what I was paid last time.
yeah,
And they was like, oh yeah, but blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I've had no money for the last 2 years also, so no, like I can't do that, because
yeah,
they want me to travel, spend £50 on fuel. By the time I've been there and back, and
yeah,
what's the point of me? There's no point me even doing the show. Like, no one seems to take any of that
mm,
into consideration. It doesn't pay for my rehearsal room.
Mm.
This is the thing. People think we magically turn up with a set that we haven't practiced, haven't had to use a studio space, haven't spent any time at all crafting and putting together. We've just turned up,
mm,
we've done an hour and a half, and that's what they're paying you for. And it's like, well, no, that's
yeah.
not how it
And
works.
Yeah, and also as well, I think it's like I working in a band as well. Like I've worked with so many different bands, and one of my old bands used to joke to me like, "Oh, people would be like, oh yeah, the singers they never do anything," and I'm like, "Excuse me," and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, the singers they never." And I
Well, they
used to
don't
say to
carry
people like,
anything.
firstly, well, actually, let me shut you down right now
Come
because
on, shut him down.
I
Put him in
own
his place.
Hey,
yeah, I
this
own the
microphone's
PA
heavy.
system for my band. I own the PA system for my band, so I'm the one that has to log it into the car.
Oh, there
I'm
you
the
go.
one that's
You're
got to
right.
drive it there. I'm the one that sets it up because no one else knows how to set my sound system up. I'm the one who lets everybody go into my sound system. I'm the one that does the sound check and fiddles with all the little whatevers on my desk to make sure that everybody sounds good. And then
The
when we're
technical stuff.
finished, I'm the one that packs it all down, puts it back in the car, and then drives home again to have to unload it back into my house. So for all them people out there that say the singers don't do nothing,
Shut down.
Just for the
yeah,
record, I am a singer in a band. I know I don't play any instruments in one of the bands, but but it is the other thing as a singer as well. You're protest to this as well, and bands drive me nuts for this. It's like we do a show and you go, right, lads, can't do the show. I mean, I've cancelled probably a grand total of 2 gigs in about 8 years. I don't think I
yeah,
have to be almost dead for me to cancel a gig. But there was a couple where I called my agent and I'm like, can't do the show. I mean, she can hear me on the phone, barely can
yeah,
speak, no voice at
yeah,
all, can't do the
yeah.
show. Why not? And I'm like, are we having this conversation?
Have you got ears?
You can
Yeah.
hear me. I can't do this gig. Can't even speak, let alone sing. And they'll be like, "Oh, you'll be fine when you get there. Just have a drink over this." And you're like, "That's not. It's not like changing a guitar string. It's something wrong with your guitar. You just, unless you're Jordan, you just change your guitar string." Sorry, it was a running joke with Jordan. Jordan, our guitarist. Have you ever met a
Yeah,
guitarist like this or a band member, whereby they go out and they buy a really beautiful, nice instrument, right? And then
yeah.
literally treat it like shit.
It's the running joke
Oh,
in the
Jordan.
band. It's
He-
the running joke.
You literally just put it up a wall, it'll fall over. He
Oh,
he walked into a gig before and got it like trapped in a door. He fell out of his front door of his house and just dropped it into the street. He's just everything ever since he's
poor
bought this.
guitar.
Every time how it still works is
Well,
unbelievable.
doesn't hold its tune very well, does it? Poor George. Poor George gets absolutely slammed over his guitar.
we saw
He's
we
not
saw a
even here to
little
defend himself, bless him.
we saw a video once and I sent it saying, look, it's Jordan on the way to the gig. There was a bloke and his gig bag had fallen out the back of his truck and it was hanging on by a string and it was just bouncing off the road.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, that's
Poor
Jordan.
bloke.
But
Leave him alone. poor
have you
bloke.
ever had a band member like that? That's just been a bit.
No, because do you know what? Everybody
You work
that's
with
in my band is a lot older than me, and they all do it for a living. That's their full-time job.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if something happened to their bass or their drum kit or their keys or guitar,
They're
they
out of
can't
Yeah.
work. Like, yeah, it's like for example, as a teacher, babe, right? If your pencil breaks, you can just go and get one out of the stationery cupboard.
In theory.
But in theory, but
Work at a state school.
Okay, you bring the spare one in from home.
That's it, yeah.
But if you're on a gig or you're coming home from a gig and your bass, let's just say it happens to fall out the back of the car, right? And you accidentally run over it and you break it in half, and it's the only one you've got.
Yeah.
You then can't gig. Like, so I think my guys, they take extra care, and because it's their full-time living.
Yeah.
You know, if something was to happen to their equipment, they're screwed.
Yeah.
So no, I've never actually personally worked with someone who just
it's just Jordan then. It's just Jordan.
Just Jordan by the sound of it.
He's okay. What something else I want to ask you about actually, because you mentioned earlier having a bad belly. Now, luckily, you had the luxury of being able to be sent off
Are you
to your
about to
hotel
tell
room.
the
No,
story?
I wasn't going to tell the
Because
story,
I
but I
was
was
going
going
to ask
to.
you about that story, young Stephen.
I wasn't going to tell the story, but I was going to ask her another question based on that story.
So I
Okay.
think it's worth, as soon as you were telling this story, Steve's first gig with his other bands, because he cheats on me every now and then, and he
You're in
has
another band too.
shut up.
Absolute slut.
And
You
his
slut.
first gig with them, you had quite
I
an
had
upset tummy, didn't you?
I had one of these situations whereby, like I said earlier, I should have cancelled the gig. I was literally in and out the toilet like every 15 minutes that day, non-stop, and it was uncontrollable. I think it was like neurovirus or something. It was bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I kind of took an entire packet of Imodium or something like that, whatever it was, like about 20 minutes before, about an hour before I went on stage. I was like, I'm just going to shove everything in my face and hope something works, right? And hope I can get through this 40-minute set. I hadn't gone 40 minutes all day without getting to the bathroom. so anyway, I'm on stage and I'm thinking, oh, this is okay. I feel all right. First song, got through it, did all right, did good. Second song, good. No, I'm okay. About 3 songs in, I'm starting to feel a little bit of a cramp now. By song 5 and 6, I was turning to the drummer, telling him, speed it the fuck up. Speed it up. I was going to redecorate his drum kit. He was right behind me.
It was one of those, thank you very much, good night, whoosh, off the
stage. faster than you've ever seen any human. There was a Steve-shaped blur just leave the stage. But having... I was bad. Anyway.
Did you poo yourself?
No, but I would have. I had this one note at the end of the song, and I was doing okay. And I started by the last song. I thought, oh no, it's gone away now. It's settled back down. I'll be okay. And then at the end of the song, I forgot about this one note.
Oh my God!
As I was coming up to this note, because I hold this note for like almost it's like 30, 40 seconds. It's like a really long note, and I hit it hard, and it's big. And I'm coming to the note and I'm going, I just won't do the note. I won't do the note. I don't know. I just won't do the note. No one knows it. It's my first gig. No one knows that's what I'm supposed to do. So fuck it. Anyway, I get to the note and like a total tit. I did it. I did the note and then literally was like, okay, that's us, bye. And then was just gone. So my question was, after made me tell that story, embarrassing moments on stage.
Oh God, you shit yourself, didn't you?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I made it to the bathroom and I was fine. And do you know what was really annoying? I don't know whether it was because of the amount of Imodium that I took. I think it was literally just the stomach cramp that I got because I didn't actually need the toilet at all. I was totally fine. Oh, she's left.
There's a line when it comes to podcasting, and talking about poo is beyond the line.
Hey, we're talking about real life situations on stage here. And these things happen to singers and performers. But it is interesting. Well, I'm sure we'll get her back in a second. She'll have. We had this happen a few times before we went live. But Emma, it's got to have happened to you. You've got to have had something where you've been on stage and you thought, I've got to get off stage.
Do you know?
Or you've had an embarrassing moment, even if it's just like forgetting your lines.
I've had a gig where I was woefully unprepared. It was one of the first solo gigs that I played, just me and the acoustic guitar.
We're back.
There she is. Hello.
Sorry, I did. So just in case you missed it, I did make it to the bathroom.
Yourself or not?
No, I didn't know. I actually didn't go to the toilet at all. I think the amount of tablets I'd taken had just made me ill. I think it just gave me stomach cramp, and I was absolutely fine. Oh, she's gone again.
Hilarious.
We're never going to get to the end of this story.
There she is. Hi.
She's never going to know the ending to this story. No, I didn't.
Oh no.
We were totally safe.
Oh,
is everyone there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
We can hear you.
Okay, I'll turn my Wi-Fi off again. Okay,
so no, I was absolutely fine. I made it. I was all good. Right, but Emma was just explaining. I just said to Emma, you must have had an embarrassing moment or two.
And I was telling Steve, it wasn't really a case of an embarrassing moment. It was the first gig that I played, just me and the acoustic guitar, which is not my comfortable place.
Was this recent?
Fairly.
Yeah.
my comfortable place is with a band, and particularly with work husband there. That's my comfortable place. Standing next to him, he makes me feel quite comfortable on stage. And so when it's just
Somehow.
me and the guitar, it is at my most
Oh,
uncomfortable, don't you? So I was playing a gig, and I was kind of woefully unprepared, and there was technology problems, and the PA system was shit. And as we were going through the songs, I was just looking around the audience thinking, Christ, you are absolutely hating this, aren't you? And then, which made me think, I'm really hating this as well. So I got to the end of the set, and they said, right, you're going to have a quick break, about half an hour, and then come back and do the other half. I thought, oh, I was standing in the toilet going, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back. I don't want to do the other half of the set. I've got to do the half of the set. Oh, shit, I don't want to do the other half of the set. And so I dragged myself back on for the other half and went, has anybody got any requests? And they said, ABBA. So, okay. So I did a request set for half an hour, and I absolutely hated it. And as soon as my clock went 30 minutes, thanks very much, good night, packed the PA system up, threw it in the car, and went, I'm off. Absolutely hated it, because I want to play the music.
you.
I want to play the music I want to play. I don't necessarily want to play the music you want to listen to.
I know. Do you know what? I got sent once to like this social club years ago, and I did a classic
Oh,
rock.
never
I did a
got to
classic.
see.
I did a classic rock tribute, and I go in
Yeah.
there, and I swear to God, this was the Coffin Dodger Society that I was playing to. And I walked in there. I phoned my agent. I went, if I turn this up to the levels I normally play at, because it's rock music, heavy rock music, someone in here is going to die. I was like, what do I do? Turns out, by the way, you should never judge a book by your cover. It was one of the best gigs I ever had. The women in there, I just want to use the word old, but more mature ladies in there,
Nice.
bloody loved it. And it was literally amazing. Like, I did have to turn it down a little bit because, the boss was being a bit angry. But other than that, the people that were there were like totally loved it. They just happened to all be complete rockheads.
Oh,
It was great, actually. It was a really good gig. But I remember thinking, I don't want to do this gig. I didn't want to even set up. I didn't get as far as you, Em. But you must have had some. Have you situations? How do you deal with them as well? Like, so if you get a situation and you're in the middle of it, honestly, it's like you have to do something in your brain. It's like on the outside, you've got to appear calm, collected.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, we're having a good time.
I don't think I did. I think
inside
all
you're screaming.
All my mates say, if I don't like something, my face will give it away. I don't have any poker face whatsoever. And I imagine I was standing on the stage playing songs saying, this is shit, innit? This is shit. We're all hating this. I'm getting paid for it, but I don't want to be here and you don't want to listen to me. So let's just get through the next hour together, shall we?
Brilliant. I'm trying to think. You know what? There was one time where I did a gig and I was with the band, and the venue never told us that there was a sound limiter.
Oh,
and it was attached to the plugs. So if we went over a certain decibel, it would shut down the PA system. It would just turn everything up. It would just temporarily cut the power and everything would go off. When I tell you, I said to them, can you go and turn it off? So we start the gig, we did the sound check, that was fine, right? We start the gig, I am one song in, right? Now, anybody that's ever seen me sing knows I've got a very powerful voice, right? But it's not actually, it's the bass, rather. It's the bass and in that makes the limiter do the thing.
Yeah.
But when I'm giving it some, so imagine I've done my first song, I go to start the second one, I'm trying to get everybody into it, and everything cuts out. And I'm like, oh, now thankfully, because I've got a massive gob, I could shout down the room, oh, I don't know what's happened here, give me a second. Then all the power came back on. I was like, I'm just going to get us started again. And then one of the members of staff came down and said, there's a sound limiter. I said, oh, could you turn it off? I said, because nobody told us. I said, my son, I'm doing some Proud Mary, I'm doing some Whitney Houston, I'm getting up there. Okay, do you know what I mean? Like I'm out there,
Yeah.
I'm going to church, right? So I know for an absolute fact that sound limit is going to cut me out at every song, at every chance it can get. It's going to mess me up. So I've tried to, be really far. I was like, look, and I'm mortified at this point. So I go over to the guy who booked me and I was like, so sorry, I've just been told there's a sound limiter. It didn't go off during sound check. So now I'm concerned. He was like, yo, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. It's absolutely fine. Like, do what you got to do. Get yourself set back up. The nicest guy ever. But I knew him as outside of this booking. So I was grateful for that because I thought if you didn't know me, you'd probably just think I was really unprofessional. But we also had to start late because my bass player got into a car accident. So on the way, he's fine. So it was fine, but still, I was like, oh my life, the car came off worse than he did. So I was like, oh Jesus. So we were starting late, and that had happened. So the manager, whoever it was like, yeah, it's fine. We've turned it off. So we get started again. I'm getting into Proud Mary.
I can see where this is going.
Everything shut down.
Oh.
It happened 6 times.
Oh no!
And I have never felt such shame in my life. Nothing that I can control, right? So in the end, we had to turn everything right down. I had to put everybody through the desk, and I had to turn everybody right down. When I tell you, it instantly killed the vibe, right? Because people are trying to party, and it may as well have been silent disco. Do you know what I mean? Like it was screaming.
Silent.
And they're paying good money to have us there. Do you know what I mean? Like they're paying decent money to have us there, and I'm thinking, you're not getting the full performance. You're not getting what you deserve and what you paid for because the stupid venue. I'd love to call the venue out. I won't, but the stupid venue live and told me they turned it off. And then, at the end of the gig, I went up to the manager as politely as possibly said, I said, so I don't mean to be rude. I said, but you have not turned that sound limiter off. I said, but you've ruined our gig.
Yeah.
And I said, and I'm furious. I said, you've made us feel so embarrassed. I said, because we asked you, I said, you never told us in the beginning that there wasn't, a sound limiter. Yeah. When we had to discover there was, through this mortifying situation of everything shutting off, I said, we then politely asked you to turn it off, which you said that you did, but clearly you didn't. And I literally said to him, I said, I don't mean to sound rude. I said, but if you're going to have live performers, switch it off. I said, because how can you expect anybody to have a good time when they can't even enjoy themselves? Because the minute they start enjoying themselves, everything shuts down. And I was like, I said, you've ruined their evening. I said, thankfully, they're nice people. I said, but you have been a part in ruining their evening. I said, you should be proud of yourself. And that was horrible because I felt like I did a bad job, but there was nothing I could do about it.
But those sound limiters were brought in because of morons that would move next to a pub or a music venue and then complain that it was loud.
Yeah.
Those people, I would happily vote for some kind of system where, I don't know, they're like deported or something. I don't know, like. Well, you don't.
We'll just put them all in one quiet town. Okay, we'll just put them there where there's no phone.
Somewhere in the Cotswolds.
There's no. Yeah, but there's no sound ever.
It's quiet on a raft in the ocean, isn't it?
Exactly. We'll put them somewhere where anybody that doesn't like too much noise.
But that's
they
the
can
point.
all live in one big field.
But that's the point. If you're one of those people and you've moved next door to a music venue or somewhere that has music or comedy or whatever it might be, or late night entertainment, and then you complain about it, like the council should just literally turn around and go, stop being a moron. You moved there. That venue was there before you got there. Stop being a tool.
Yeah.
Because if you was living there for years and it was a quiet little village, and then Disco Inferno opens up right at the end of your street.
I think we should open a bar called Disco Inferno.
Right, and that opens up, then fair enough, you've got the right to complain because it was always quiet previously. But if that venue was there first and then you move next to it, do yourself a favour and jump. Right.
Are you okay, babes?
No, these people are killing. But it's people like that that ruin things for everyone else, and they're just killjoys.
Yeah.
So I don't like them.
Yeah.
Anyway, Emma, well, because we're getting on to 45 minutes. These fly by, don't they? These.
Yeah.
I listen to
Yeah.
like. I don't want to plug someone else's podcast, but I do listen to a few podcasts that go on for like 3 or 4 hours, and you can understand how easy that is to do. You're just chatting.
Oh God, yeah.
Emma's got some questions for you. We're going to go through before.
So
Go
for
our
it.
plan is every guest that we interview, because we've got grandiose ideas about how well this podcast is going to do. Every guest that we interview, we're going to ask the same. I think I've got 4 questions. So you're going to be our first person. So question number 1: what is your favorite album of all time?
Oh, this is such a hard question.
I know. Look at your face.
Oh, what are you doing?
What? You like ask me who's my favorite child? Yeah,
I could
it's
answer
tough.
that one.
I love how I look straight down at my vinyls. I've got my little
Yeah.
vinyl player here, and I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it like, oh my God, I don't. My favorite album of all time. How can you ask me this question?
I know, it's a tough question. Next,
The answer is no.
ask.
No, I'm thinking.
Maybe throw a few out then.
Yeah, can I? Okay, I love. I have to say, I do love Rag and Bone Man's Human album.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Big fan of that. I'm a big fan of Rag and Bone Man. I could listen to him all the time. Oh, I love him
Great
so
voice.
much. That was such genuine, heartfelt. Then.
It is a great voice. Emma, that is a really difficult question.
I know.
I don't even
That
know
is
if
a
I could
really
answer
hard
that.
question.
I don't even know if I could answer
I
that
don't
one.
know because I haven't got one. It is, yeah, I'm going to say I haven't got one because I like so many different artists. It would have to be like a little mixtape situation.
I think.
Yeah, I'm so
I think as our
Soon as it's the first episode of us doing this, Emma, what's yours?
it is Cher's Heart of Stone album from 1989.
Share, really? Okay.
Heart of Stone, when she had a bit of an edge to her. She was doing Turn Back Time and Jesse James. And...
Oh, if I could turn back home.
That's my karaoke song. As much as I hate doing karaoke.
Oh, we should try and do a country
I've got
version.
a gun to my head, that'll be the song I do.
We do a country version of it.
Let's do it. I sang that at my wedding.
Which I think what the albums, man, that's a hard.
And I think also nowadays, if I asked a youngun, not that I'm saying you're old, but if I asked a youngun, they'd be like, "What's an album?"
Yeah, I think
Okay,
my
what's your
favorite.
Yeah,
I think my favorite. My
playlist.
favorite album of all time, I think, is going to be Michael Jackson. Bad.
Oh, good choice.
Is it
Good
bad?
choice.
Is it bad? Is that the name of the album, or is it Dangerous?
The one that's
or
got
whatever
bad
it
on
was?
it.
The one that's got bad on it, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Bad because you get some of the songs on there is like just not necessarily his most commercial songs ever as well, but some of my favorites on that album.
Yeah.
I think that's my number one. Go on then. What's the next question? I'm intrigued. I don't know what these are.
What's the song that made you want to be a singer?
Oh my God, these are hard.
I know. I don't want to
what's
be
the
like.
song that made me want to be a singer?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Actually, it was. I feel like it was a Whitney Houston song because when I was a kid and on my Walkman, my little tape player, right?
Nice.
I used to listen non-stop, right, to the 2 Whitney tunes, yeah, A side, B side, right, and it was The Greatest Love of All. I used to listen to that consistently. That song was the first song I ever recorded in the recording studio. I was literally about 10.
I'm not going to tell you what my first one was.
I think my dad still got the tape somewhere, like of that recording. It's adorable. You can tell that I'm a child. It's hilarious. Like I sound and I don't know. Like I would say The Greatest Love of All. Like I've always known from when I knew I could sing. I've always wanted to be a singer. I don't know if there's necessarily a particular song, but it was more the feeling that I got when I performed.
Yeah.
There you go.
A song, I think the song I'm most obsessed over as a kid that it got me interested in things like harmonies and like actually taking notice of what a vocal was doing.
Yeah.
And I do genuinely specifically remember it being this song would have been Prince. And the song's called 7. So it's not a song that probably many people know, but it's like 1, 7, and we'll watch them fall. ting, ting. I just loved it. I loved the video. It was on MTV at the time. I was literally obsessed, and that's when I literally became obsessed with Prince. And then from, I think probably for about 5 years solid after that, not sure I listened to anything other than Prince.
Yeah.
From a really young guy, I was about 12. I literally discovered Prince. I've got Prince tattoo on my arm here. Look, it's not just a fad. I got his symbol and him floating in there saying "Let's go crazy." No, Prince, 100%. That song got me onto Prince, and then that got me. I think I was recording songs, although rather embarrassingly, the first song I ever recorded.
Cat.
Yeah.
It's like a little landmine. You don't know when it's gonna go off, but it will happen.
It's gonna happen at some time.
The first song I ever recorded, and I can't remember why I had to do it. It was something to do with school, but it was Enrique Iglesias. I forget the name of the song.
I
if
can
you
be
dance.
your hero,
Yeah, that's the one.
baby.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Big tune. Big tune.
So cringy. Yours,
Okay.
Em.
Oh my god.
No, you can't get away with it, Emma. You can't get away with it. What was yours?
So I have, with my hand on my heart, expressed in previous conversations with Steve that my music taste to someone of my age now, they'd look at me and go, "That's absolutely tragic." But I will put my hand on my heart and say,
"Oh no,
yeah, the group steps taught me how to sing harmonies." So I, as a young 17, 16, 14-year-old, I was obsessed. I was obsessed with dance routines.
How do we remove her from the podcast?
So,
can I remove myself?
But listening to a 3-part harmony with those 3 girls taught me, and Steve will be very glad it did, taught me how to pick out a harmony. And they did a cover of "I Know Him So Well." And I first heard that song. I hate show tunes. Musicals can suck a dick. I'm not a fan at all.
It's not PG, is it? This.
But listening to that made me think, huh? And I obsessed on being able to sing all 3 parts of that harmony.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. See, I was all into like Boys to Men, like
Boys to Men.
I think MTV. I discovered black music when I was 12. That was like hip hop.
We're doing good, don't we?
Soul. I'll tell you what. The first time. Do you know where I developed like a little bit of a scream that I do when I'm in my heavier bands, and I got because I couldn't really do like a metal scream, but I could do this Otis Redding scream that he used to do, and the Prince scream, and so they did the scream, but they did it in a different way. So then when I started doing it, it was a bit more unique because no one else on the metal scene was doing that. Although it has been done before, it's not like I invented it. I was just copying what Otis Redding, Prince, and the people of that era were doing. James Brown did it. I mean, that's why my dance moves are so incredible. Emma will protest. She will say otherwise.
Like Jagger.
I am.
I don't know why, but everybody was just talking about the screaming. The reason I'm laughing is because the whole time since you said it, I've had to fight the urge to just scream. You wanted to just make a really.
It's not at all the idea of the whitest boy in the West Midlands putting together a Motown and soul scream.
I do look very white. I do look very white at the moment with this light that's on my face. But I am usually of a slightly darker complexion. I don't know what's going on with this light. But
okay.
Good question, Emma.
I've got to skip on past steps.
Good question.
What song are you listening to right now? Is there something like you're playing over and over and over and over again?
Yeah, there is actually, and it's an old tune. Like it's something that One Night Only, Jennifer Hudson. I mean, there is a reason that I've got to learn it. Like I have got a good reason why I have to learn it. But I am listening to that song so much. But also, I'd say because I have this problem where I will just start at the top of my Spotify playlist, and if wherever I'm going, every time I get in the car, I just start at the top. I've had to start putting it on shuffle. And I'm finding songs that I forgot I even had because I'm like, I have not listened to you probably since the beginning of time of having Spotify. So I listen to very much the same sort of tunes all the time. But I'm listening to that a lot at the minute. Also, I'm a little bit obsessed with Sam Ryder.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I like
yeah.
Sam.
I like his voice. I just really, really like his voice.
I like Sam Ryder. He's doing some good. He does some good stuff. Me and Emma, we
Oh,
think
it's fabulous.
highly
I just love
recommend
him.
you. Highly recommend you jump down this rabbit hole. We've talked a bit about mental health, haven't we?
Yeah.
Go on.
We do react to videos, so like people suggest to us what we should be listening to, and then we just react to them. We record ourselves reacting to songs, hearing them for the first time, and it's really interesting because we end up listening to stuff as songwriters. We're trying to learn new styles and things all the time.
Yeah.
And occasionally we get a gem thrown at us. Sometimes we get some
Yeah.
real shit. Right, but we discovered an artist called Ren,
Yeah.
and oh my days,
He's
not like
something else.
powerful as fudge. Like it's just unbelievably good, lyrical.
Yeah, a wordsmith, a really clever wordsmith.
He's bordering on.
Oh, I'm checking out.
He's
Yeah.
bordering on Shakespearean level genius lyrics, and you'll understand.
Ooh.
You'll understand that when you actually hear him, because I found out he calls the genre that he's called bardcore.
Yeah, I'd
And
say that's
it's a perfect term, because a bard would have been, because I said about he gives me the vibes of a court jester, and a
Yeah.
barb back in the old day would kind of be a jestery kind of character that would play music
well,
in pubs.
it's what they've called Shakespeare, isn't it? The bard.
Yeah, so, and he calls it bardcore, but also I said as well, which is funny because I didn't know this when I said it. I said he's also got something very Quentin Tarantino about him as well. And then later in another song, he references Quentin Tarantino as this part of his flow that he does. Honestly, it's just, and he does a cover. No, he doesn't do a cover. He does an original song with a girl called Chinchilla.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody gee. Oh my God.
Yeah, quite happily slip down that rabbit hole, because it will blow your mind.
Like, and his songs
Okay,
are like,
I'm going to listen to that when we're done here.
the one you need to listen to first is called High Ren, right? It's called High Ren, just HI and then REN. Now listen to that one, because, and the thing to take away with it as well is the fact that he records it all completely live. The whole music video is done. The whole music video is done completely live, and it's 9 minutes long. And it's the most genius thing that I've ever seen.
Incredible. It's one of those things that as a songwriter you go, yeah, okay, I wish I could write something like that, as opposed to what I currently do, which is write rhyming couplets.
But then you find out about his background, and you find out about all the disease, because he's a young lad, but he's gone through some crap. With illness. He had Lyme disease. No, he's misdiagnosed. I found out that he had Lyme disease, and he was treated for Lyme disease for 8 years. And I don't think it was that he actually had, but then that made him even worse. And then he had psychosis, other mental health problems. He was like bad. If you watch his videos about when he has his IVs and he has how many pills he has to pop like every single day, it's ridiculous. He's got hundreds that he's taking. But through all of that, he's created. People were suggesting him to us, and I was like, who the hell is this kid? Never heard of him. He's got millions and millions of streams, and a radio station has never you wouldn't be able to play his music on radio. It's too niche. Too niche. But it's the best stuff I've listened to in a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to check him out. I've just written him down.
High Ren, and the song that he does called Chalk Outlines with Chinchilla.
Yeah, amazing.
Go and watch those two. Right, last question.
Right, ready for the last question?
Yeah.
This may be an easy one, or it may be a bit of a brain turner. If you could duet with anybody, who would it be?
Oh, I mean, it's going to be either Aretha Franklin, obviously, or Tina Turner, because when I tell you that Queen, oh no, but maybe Lizzo.
Oh,
can I have a band?
That would be the most amazing girl group of all time. That was shit on Little Mix, wouldn't it?
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
Franklin,
yeah,
Lizzo.
Okay. It would be one of them three. Or
Tina Turner.
Tina Turner and me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I'd say Aretha first because I just think she'd be phenomenal. But then Tina Turner for
That
the
that would set
skill,
off
the
the
performance.
that would set off this.
She just
That
slays
would
all day.
definitely
But then
that would have
Lizzo
definitely
because
shut down your PA system.
Yeah. The sound limiter would kick in.
that would
quick.
shut down the whole building. That would have
Yeah.
shut down the whole building. All the lights are going out.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a
That's a good question. That one was easy. Yeah, that's the easiest
Yeah.
one out of four.
I thought I'd end it on a nice, easy.
I think
I appreciate you.
No problem.
I think actually just because of like vocally, how my voice. See, people would assume I would probably say Prince on this one, but I don't even grace the same stage as Prince. Like I just wouldn't bother. But someone who I think my voice would have sat with really well potentially would have been someone like I would have loved to have, and really wanted to see him live before obviously he died. But I really would have liked to have done something like with someone like Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell's voice was just magic to me, and I just wish I wish he wasn't dead. I really do. He's like, there's only ever been two artists that have ever, when you hear people like when someone like passes away, like Michael Jackson or any of these artists, and you see people and they're like welling up and crying, and I like literally, I had a day off when Prince died. I had to call in sick to work. I called work. I'm like, I can't come in. I'm like, for some reason, that death hit me like a brick. And I think it was because I was like, someone said, oh, all these great people that particular year had died. And then I said, thank God, like, because Prince had a bit of a scare a couple of weeks before. And I was like, oh, thank God Prince is still here. Like, because that was scary. Like, what happened with him? And then I literally said that. And then the morning after, he was dead. And when the guy called me up the next day and said, oh my God, we were talking about this yesterday, Prince is dead. I was like, yeah, whatever. That's a bad joke. Like, you shouldn't be saying that. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe literally, it was like a family member died. It's like, it was weird. Never got that. I don't even get that emotional about family. I was just like, wow. I never thought someone famous who I'd never met would affect me in that way. It was weird.
I get that. I cried when I found out Whitney Houston had died.
Yeah.
I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. I was at work and the DJ, I was working in Gateshead, I was at uni, and the DJ announced it, and I had to go off the bar. I was sobbing. It was inconsolable.
Mate, I was the same. I was the same when Steps broke up the first time.
Shut up. Oh my God, not even. I can just see it now. Oh my God. It's crying into your pillow. No, I've got a little bit of sex, though. You do. No, they're a guilty pleasure. We'll say that.
Amazing.
Oh my God, they're back now, aren't they? Or was that S Club 7?
No,
was it
Steps
No,
are
that's
amazing.
S7. Yeah.
But I saw Steps not too long ago. They were brilliant.
I was only ever interested
Were they?
in Rachel.
Dog is kicking off.
I was only ever
Do you know what
interested in
I'm saying?
Rachel Stevens.
Oh, I have to go have a chat
Remember when
with
she had a little bit of a solo career?
She tried.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, she tried.
Yeah.
She wasn't much of a
Quite
singer.
interesting, that one.
Yeah. I think she was there for the looks.
Oh yeah, there's always one. There's always one pretty one that can't actually really
That's Steve.
bring much.
In the band, in the Westlands, that's Steve.
So explain Victoria Beckham then.
See, every Spice Girl had a reason. Okay,
I'm being mean.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything bad, so I'm just going to say nothing at all.
Yeah. Emma, imagine, right, if all this time you've been like calling your dog every name under the sun whilst on air. Imagine if downstairs someone has just taken your TV, your Xbox is gone.
The dog's like, I've been calling you for an hour.
Well, Mom, this is what I've waited for this moment for years. I'm letting you know something's happening, and you didn't come. Yeah, right, guys. We've gone to it. Did you do your last question? You did.
Yeah,
You did that.
Yeah.
No, that was fun. That was fun. Right, we are going to. I'm gonna have to wrap them up around an hour, purely because it takes me about an hour to download these afterwards and chop them up and create the intros and everything else.
bless you.
They take a long, and then I've got to upload it again. So the video files are huge, but it's been an absolute pleasure
It very much
speaking
has
to you.
been.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Thank you
that
for having me.
and I'm sure that you'll be part of our vlog when we come and play Godiva.
Ooh.
We'll get you on the vlog as well.
Please do. Please come and find me wherever I am.
We shall just
I'll
listen
take a
and
look.
hear
Yeah,
your voice and follow.
You just hear me laughing, and you're like, "There she is. Let's go."
There she is. I
That's
can
the
hear
way.
it on the wind. There she is.
It's that way. Right. No, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a laugh
Oh,
both times,
God,
and
yeah.
it's been awesome. And I feel like we've learned stuff as well, because I was genuinely, after you finished up the last episode, I was like, I got too many questions. I need to know about the voice. This is weird. Why was she on stage for 45 minutes? It's really irritated me. I've had to wait a few days to get the answer.
Suppose you didn't just message me and ask.
No,
Mr. Impatient.
I thought I've got to save it for the podcast. So, no, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
And if you've ever got any stuff that you need to announce or anything like that, let us know. You can always come back on, and we can chat again and go through more topical stuff of the times. But thank you.
Beautiful.
Make some noise for Letitia George.
That's all right. Woo!